Welcome back to your favorite company finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. So, uh, got a couple things to go over today. I wanted to share with you guys a brand new pick, but we're gonna go over just what we've been stacking. But I do want to just tell everybody, like, now is the best time to be really getting in because everything is kind of like a brand new reset. Okay, yeah, we made some money in 23. Yeah, we made some money in 24, but everything's still been an elongated cycle. Okay. Now, I do want to emphasize that what you guys experience, for those of you that only experience one cycle in your life, okay, you've only been through one bull cycle, okay, you experienced a very short-term bull cycle because you had fast rate cuts and you had fast rate hikes, okay? And what happened was you experienced what that looks like when you saw it in 2020 and 2021 and then also 2022. So that's why you saw the market expedite in growth, but also you saw it expedite in decline too. So keep that in mind, when you're trying to put together what your time frames are, okay? Because a lot of people were saying, oh, well, the top is probably going to be this year. It's going to be, sometime in January or February or whatever the case. And everyone's still seeing the market trend sideways. And the reason why is because we're watching the Fed continuously pause rates. And the reason why they're doing that is to accommodate where the inflation rate is. And the inflation rate is still high. Now, even though we're still watching them talk about how the CPI report is, they keep saying, well, it's still good news. It's still better than what we expected. It's still very good reports. It's still over 2%. And we're still over target. We were still at 2, like we're still over 2.0. So at the end of the day, no matter what, we're still in high inflation. We still don't have anything that says we should be cutting rates. Now, I do think at some point they're going to be changing this inflation target, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, let's say, as we go forward in time, okay, their expectations for inflation is actually 3.8%. So they're already saying that our inflation is going to go higher. So that's bullish for assets because inflation's your best friend, because when inflation is going up, that means your asset prices are costing more money because your buying power is dwindling. Okay. So, keep all those things in mind. Now, I was taking a look at the US dollar recently, and we're edging towards the 105 rate right now. Now, if you recently saw the news, Canada just got through dumping some bonds because of the tariffs, and Trump recently announced that he plans on adding more tariffs to the auto industry. So there's going to be more countries dumping bonds. So if he's going to be adding tariffs to other countries, keep in mind, that this is going to add more pressure on other bondholders to dump dollars. And China and Japan still are the biggest holders of US dollar debt. And keep in mind, think about it. If all these countries are holding US dollar tokens, let's say at a 104 exchange rate, they're going to get the most money back for the debt that they're holding. And if the Fed is already expecting 3.8% within the next 5 years, then it's probably better to dump now versus later, because if the yield is roughly the same thing, well, I'm basically just hedging. I'm hedging whatever I own right now. I could just claim my principal right now, and I could use that money for other investments, or I can actually get more money in yield investing in the European bond market, or I can make more money investing in these in different asset classes. So, the US bond market's not the only bond market there is. And so there's other places that you could earn more yield in. So, the markets are going to become more competitive, but at the same time, this is making the dollar less and less attractive. And I think this is what's ultimately going to dwindle the dollar. And a lot of people think, when is the Fed going to print? And, printing is not the only way the dollar is going to lose value. The best way another way the dollar could lose value is less holders, right? So the best way to make the dollar go down in value, because keep in mind, have you guys noticed that Trump is like begging the Fed right now? He's like begging them, hey, can you please cut rates? You know, he's like saying, he's like, I really hope that the Fed cuts rates. And he's like continuously talking about how we need to cut rates and blah, blah, blah. And he's really showing the world that he has no power over this independent structure, right? And even though the Fed's not going to listen to the president, you know, what the president can do is, well, if he's not going to listen to me, then I could just tariff all these countries to the point where they dump dollars. And if they dump dollars, then there's more dollars in circulation, which means that they're selling dollars or they're currency swapping, right? So if there's more dollars in circulation, there's less holders of the dollar tokens, or US dollars. That means the dollar value will go down. So that'll still have the same effect as printing. So it's not always this narrative that the crypto market's always pitching to you, where it's just like, oh, we need to hear the Fed print money in order for us to go up. We could go up simply by making sure the dollar is the least attractive on the marketplace. Now the most bullish picks right now, guys, are still the same thing for me. You know, SD and DIA are the biggest bangers on Coinbase. ArcBlock, ABT. A Dragon Chain is very easy to get 100K tokens of and then just set and forget. April's a big month for them. They have a court case along with Ripple. Besides that, so we have SD, we have DIA, ArcBlock, Dragon Chain, and there's another pick we've all been waiting for a pretty long time. We've been watching it. We've been waiting for it to release. Shout out to like all my OGs that were with me when we were buying Parsec PRQ. You remember that? Clearly, we're not going to buy that, but they launched a new coin after they migrated, and we were waiting for the YACHT token to come out, and it's their own chain. So it's available on crypto.com, KuCoin, and I think Gate.io. So I already bagged up 100K tokens of that, and I'm done with that. So keep in mind, like, you know, right now is the best time to be buying, you know. So if like, even if you're brand new to crypto, this is really a very good time to be getting in, because the top of the market in 2022 was like 3 trillion. Okay. The top of the market right now, or the bottom of the market right now, is 3 trillion. Okay. So from here, we're going to be going a lot higher. I really do feel like we're going to be superseding $12 trillion in market cap by the time everything is said and done. And I was actually talking to the guys recently. You know, when you really take into measurement about other capital markets and you compare it to what crypto is going to be in the long term, and this is kind of why you need to look at crypto a little bit more seriously as a life portfolio situation. Okay. You know, the stock market is worth about $70 trillion. And you take a look at the gold market capitalization, you take a look at the silver market capitalization, you're talking about, you know, a lot of money here. You're talking about trillions of dollars. Okay. The crypto market's a baby market compared to everything else. Okay. So, you know, the crypto market is the only thing that a lot of people are actually early to, or you're born just in time for it. Like the real estate market is a dinosaur industry. It's overpriced. It's very slow. And it's at a point where you're getting ripped off no matter what you do. Okay. Even if you were to put down 80% on a home and you were to get the best interest rate, you're still getting ripped off. Even if you were to pay it off in 15 years, you're still paying crazy amounts of money for the principal balance left over, even if you were to borrow only 100 grand or 200 grand. And that's why these banks love real estate. And I understand that a lot of people say, well, you know, what does it matter? You know, I'll just, you know, leverage debt, and I'll just continuously leverage debt, and I'll leverage debt. But the problem is real estate's going to become even more expensive, to the point where they're going to start fractionalizing investment, because it's going to become so expensive, it's not going to make sense to do any of that anymore. And I think this is going to roll into the, you know, you're going to be owning nothing and being happy. I mean, they're probably going to have you renting your own clothes at some point. but my point is if you're, I would say like, I want to say like even if you're 50 years old, if 50 years old, 40 years old, or younger, um, especially younger cats than 40, 50. I mean, 40, 50, you're kind of at that cusp where you kind of were young enough to get a good deal. Um, but, people that are around the 40 or under, 30, 20-year-old people right now, you guys don't get the best prices. You're not getting the best prices. You're not going to get the best rates. You're getting fucked over completely. You're not going to get the best deal. And, you coming into the market as an investor, and let's say if you were to compare all asset classes, whether you're looking at like FX, real estate, it could be anything, sports cars, fucking Rolex, whatever. It could be anything. And you'll notice that all markets you're late to, all the market capitalizations are multi-trillions worth of capitalization. And, crypto is the only thing that's still baby enough where you're there early enough because you were born at the right time, at the right place, where you're here to listen to this video, or you were here to listen or learn about crypto. Okay. So keep this in mind that this is still a golden opportunity for you to create a lifelong portfolio. And this is kind of where I go back to where you guys need to really focus on, we're going to have your layer 2 positions and stuff like that. But as you move forward into the future, you're going to be holding on to some of your layer 1s like Bitcoin or ETH or whatever the case later on down the line when you're pulling profits or whatever the case. Some of these other picks, that you can hold for long term, like for instance, back in the day, I mean, even nowadays, like when I was calling Chainlink under $1, you could still hold Chainlink, you could still hold Cardano, you could still hold VChain and HBAR. Like these were all, older companies that you could still hold back in the day through the cycles, and you could be perfectly fine. Now, granted, some of those were layer 1s, but I think Chainlink would probably be like the best example of a layer 2 that you could have held through the cycle and still retained a lot of your principal or a lot of your money. Okay, and I do believe that ArcBlock, SD Dia are definitely picks that you could do that with. Now, keep in mind, I just got through calling PokerStarter, which is Pols, POLS. That's a 4x per USD right now. It's 100 million coin supply. It's a multi-chain launchpad. Now, it's going to serve as a multi-chain launchpad for multiple ecosystems. So it's going to do Solana, XRP, Binance, SU Network. It does everything. So to give you perspective of how much revenue it's going to be able to generate as we go into the bull cycle, Solana generated for Pump.Fun about 600 million in revenue. PokerStarter is going to be able to cater to Solana plus a bunch of other ecosystems. So I can imagine that it could generate probably multiples over that. Okay. So I do think that Pols is definitely a good pick to collect. POLS, it's on Coinbase. Dia, SD. And then, of course, Jesus is always Lord. Don't forget, Jesus is always Lord here at MYC. MYC is always bullish. Now, again, for those of you that just came in, I did call YACHT token. We've been waiting for that. That's on crypto.com, gate.io, and what was the other one? KuCoin. Okay. Let me go through your comments real quick. And if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and pop it in there. And, if you're new here or anything like that, don't forget to sign up for OddApp. It's available on Apple and Google stores. It's an application I created myself. It's private, secure. Can't do screenshots on it or anything like that. That's where my community congregates. We get educated on there. You'll learn about different picks, stuff like that. But you're going to learn about the back end of crypto. You'll learn a variety of different things besides just how people make money in crypto, but how you could save it and how you could not get fucked over most of the time. So a lot of times people only think about making money, but they never know how to protect themselves either. So keep that in mind. I really liked ALF token. I always liked the coin. The tech is there. It had a lot of cool stuff about it. But the performance sucked so much ass. I really didn't like that about that coin. So I'm not bullish on ALF anymore. I do think it's a good project, but I just didn't like how it performed, even though we were really nailing on it, we were harping on it, and it just didn't get the reception that we were looking for. So I wasn't too bullish on that. What's bullish still to me, and I don't, I don't really like this. See, the reason why I'm bullish on NCT still, Polyswarm, is because it's niche. ALF is not niche. There's still a lot of other coins that are better than that when it comes to DID, like ArcBlock. But and I think that's the reason why ALF didn't do so well, is because ArcBlock is superior. Had better tokenomics. I think there's a variety of reasons why I don't think ALF performed well compared to the other ones. But yeah, thank you. I got a brand new laptop. My other laptop, it kept overheating. It was lagging. It didn't have good connection. This one's a high performance computer, has 3 fans in it. This should be way better. So we should have a better quality streams here. But what was I going to say? NCT is a very good project. And if here's the thing. If you're a shrimp, okay, if you guys, if you have only $2,000 to your name, or you only have $10,000 or something like that, okay, you're a shrimp, and you only have so much money to work with, the key to your success is to get enough coins, or to get coins that you could get 100K tokens of. Okay, you want to get 100K tokens of that and hold those to at least $1, or more. Okay, that's the only way you're going to be able to get out of that area. You're going to need high multipliers and high token counts. So, if I was a shrimp, I would spend $2,000 on NCT, get my 100K tokens, bag that up and hold that long, and I'd be done. A React tokens on crypto.com, KuCoin, and Gate.io, that's only going to cost, not the 2K shrimp, but, that'll cost you $9 or $10,000. That'll get you 100K tokens. That's a fairly cheap bag for 100K tokens. Polka Starter, that's a fucking banger right there. That's $24,000 for 100K tokens. Dia and SD, those are going to cost you a little bit more money, but they're fucking explosive. Those are SD and Dia are probably the most fucking bullish banger ass coins ever, but they're just expensive. But they're expensive because of how explosive they are. Even at call, they were expensive because even when I was watching them. Okay, because keep in mind,